So Joe, it's been a pretty frenzied almost year and a half now in the currency space, but it seems like there's a lot of companies like yours that are actually finding a massive market with big, large institutions who want to implement this sort of technology. So to me, it seems like investors are thinking like this is like late 90s internet sort of thing, but I keep hearing developers saying, no, you got to take it a step back here. We're like late 80s. Kind of, where are we and when will they converge?
So let's call it mid-90s. It is.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's definitely the case that like the internet, like the World Wide Web, there was a period in which corporations weren't comfortable using the public internet, and they used intranets, basically the same technologies, but more private, more secure. We're seeing that with many large institutions. We work with quite a few of them, including governments. We're seeing them get their toes a little bit wet with the technology in a private permission context, while lots of developers are building out many different kinds of applications on the public blockchain, which can also be used on these private permissioned infrastructures.
In terms of the industries adopting Ethereum as a platform on which to build various contracts or whatnot, which industries are you seeing the most adoption that you're most surprised by? And has that changed over the past few months? Have you seen new industries really come at it hard and say, this is something we're really looking at right now that they weren't looking at a few months ago?
Sure. So I'm not surprised that any industry is interested in using this breakthrough technology. Early on, the financial industry, banks essentially jumped into this. Partly, perhaps they were concerned about disintermediation, but I think mostly they were interested in the efficiencies, the new business models that it would afford. We're seeing every industry jump into this. Any industry that wants to move from siloed infrastructure to essentially collaborating with their competitors within their sectors or industries, across industries, any sort of value chain that can house shared infrastructure for many different actors that want to compete but also collaborate. That's perfect for this technology.
So shipping, utilities.
Yeah, so supply chain, energy, insurance, banking, healthcare, education, we're seeing it everywhere.
Everything under the sun. Joe, it's great to have you with us. We hope you'll come back.
So I really agree with them, man. This is the evolution of information technology. This would be similar to how, we used to just use horses and wind power, and, we discovered fuel. It completely changed how you would travel. I mean, cars are coming out, planes will be emerging. I mean, it's the same with these cryptocurrencies. And I don't think you can really predict like what this is. I like how these news segments, they try to be like, okay, are we in the 80s of the internet or are we in the 90s? I mean, that's just, I guess it's good to look at history, but, and history does repeat itself, but it's very, very hard to pinpoint, what exact time we're at. So I don't know why they do that. But I do feel like this is really going to just change the world and how we share information and how we transact. I mean, there's just so many things that are going to change. And if I was going to make a comparison, it's, before the introduction of cryptocurrencies, we were using sailboats and horses to get around, and now we have fuel. And like I said, fuel first evolved into maybe trains and cars, but eventually the fuel did evolve into planes and fighter jets and that kind of stuff. And if you want to use an analogy, that's the analogy I would use. But let me know what you guys think. I'm obviously very, very excited, and I do feel like all of these different industries will embrace it. And I like how they sugarcoated the banking. I mean, let's just be honest, banking does not like this. This is going to definitely cut in to banking's profit margins, just like how a taxi service is not going to like Uber, but they're obviously going to embrace it. And like I said, I think it's just good for the consumer, because I think that, it's going to force, the cartel effect where, banks are able to make such large profits. If you look at any bank balance sheets, I think it's going to force it where, they're going to have to be a little less profitable, and it's going to be better for the people that actually save, the consumers that are, putting away their capital. It's going to hopefully give them more of the money instead of the middleman, but only time will tell. So let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys soon.